Some students at Beverly Hills High School carried out a violent orgy of assaults and terror on that teacher and her own students. Well, perhaps it wasn't quite like that. Let's analyze this event in the most fair, balanced manner possible. In other words, the way I always do it. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With cold, blunt analysis cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's time for the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
New at 5, investigations are underway at Beverly Hills High School following claims of racial intimidation on Election Day.
Fox 11's Hal Eisner's live with the update for us. Hal?
Yeah, an incident some students and others are calling racist has had a big impact on Beverly Hills High School and students and a teacher, and some of the video you're about to see we obtained through a public records request.
Racism, racial intimidation, pretty serious charges there. But how scary was it?
I'm going to tell you how scary it was.
This is what Bella Ivory is talking about. She's a fashion teacher at Beverly Hills High School.
Fashion or fascism?
Who says on the day of the election, there was a mob going down the hallway.
It was just mob of kids, just so many kids outside my door. And they had one had a Trump flag on a pole, on a flagpole. Another, it was just so many of them. Some of them had on MAGA hats. Some, had on just Trump fans apparel.
She says someone tried to open her classroom door, says it upset some of her students.
At this school, I've had to deal with a lot of racism.
But at a recent school board meeting, students talked about how scared they were, given what happened outside Bella Ivory's classroom during election week.
And it became utterly impossible to just ignore it. From 8:30 to 2:30 all week, being at school felt like being in a nightmare. What the black students and Miss Bella had to deal with that week had absolutely nothing to do with politics.
Had nothing to do with politics? Seriously? You're claiming that none of this is political?
That week, being stormed, being called the N-word, being shunned, all because you were black, became the normal.
In recent weeks, I have seen racial slurs scrawled across the walls of our bathrooms, hateful rhetorics being spoken by fellow students in the hallways we share, and violent behavior towards Miss Bella and our club.
Racial slurs were scrawled across the walls of your bathrooms? Gee, that's never been done before. I can't imagine what it must be like to see slurs written on bathroom walls. It's a bathroom wall. Hosting profane, ignorant, and insulting words and images is its job. What the hell kind of sheltered world are these kids living in today?
Oh my God, I walked into a bathroom and saw all kinds of nasty things etched onto the stall door. What am I going to do?
Notice also that neither of these kids carry any receipts. All of these violent words spoken to them. And they have no audio of any of it. No pictures of racist imagery. Nothing. It's just a claim by those who have decided to avail the opportunity to dogpile on a political group they despise. We've seen this before. In Ferguson, Missouri, Michael Brown violently attacked a police officer named Darren Wilson and got shot for his efforts. Brown's buddy later went to the media, not the cops, and fabricated the hands up, don't shoot lie. Others heard this lie and decided to jump in and support his claim, all of a sudden becoming eyewitnesses who saw no such thing. Later, they had to recant their claims. And why did they lie? Because they saw it as a golden opportunity to convict a white cop to sue their political allegiances. And I think both of these kids are doing the same thing. Do I believe them? No, and I don't have to.
Bella Ivory also spoke at the board meeting.
They looked so frightened. Then I said, I'm not going to open the door. And then the student said, they look like KKK.
They look like KKK? Really? Let's see. Oh yeah, those could be the same photograph for all we know. But wait, for all of you casting pity on the teacher, let's see how she responds.
The district tells Fox 11, we remain deeply committed to upholding a secure and conscientious setting where students can responsibly and considerably engage in the democratic process. But the district says it is investigating the claims, investigating the situation using all resources available, including this audio recording from a student's cell phone inside Bella Ivory's classroom.
If anything happens to me at this school, my family will come for your families. If anything happens to my son and Vivi, I will comfort their families.
Ivory says she wasn't making any threats, just sharing her feelings in a conversation that she claims was edited on social media.
Pretty much saying, my family's going to come after a family that hurts me, kills me or whatever, legally, not physically.
Yeah, ye old, I was talking about suing you, not attacking you bit. That was a clear threat. Did she mean it? No. This was just tough internet boasting, much like Kyle made on the CBS video footage. It's the same type of empty threat that the school teacher made against those parents who supported Trump. You can see that video right here. Regardless, it's still a threat. She claims that she meant her threat in the legal sense, that she was only threatening legal action. What kind of horse manure is that? Who makes threats like,
If you harm my family, my children, I'm going to sue your family?
really? Give me a break.
High school officials say that the demonstration like you just saw will be prohibited in the future if it causes any kind of disruption. Meanwhile, Ivory says she's planning on going back to work just after she gets over some of the stress.
Wait, she just got telling us how terrified she was, but she's going to go back? With the KKK being there to hurt her and her family? This is the very essence of being disingenuous. They make this up because they have found that being a victim gives them a tiny bit of power. So how scared of these kids is she really? And is she now an advocate for the freedom to arm herself against such future threats? To protect her students? Of course not. Because unlike what one student said, this is political. The teacher is trying to score a political victory against a group she despises. She's not scared. She's not terrified. She sees a golden opportunity to tighten the screws on MAGA. That's what this is about. But let's give her the benefit of the doubt. A mob of kids all walking in unison could be worrying, sure. But the fact that they are wearing MAGA hats or waving Trump flags has no bearing on anything. If nothing else, it weakens her argument because it makes it look like this is more about her own personal politics than any real fear. After all, what makes this not a peaceful assembly? And so this raises the ugly scepter of hypocrisy. If those kids were of a more diverse racial makeup and carrying BLM banners, who among us thinks she would have had the same reaction? You don't have a right to not be scared. You don't even have a right to live in peace. Municipalities can enact laws to ensure peace and tranquility, but only if they wish to do so. If you're terrified of dogs, that does not mean that a person walking by you with a dog is denying you a civil right. In this case, the fact that the teacher is terrified of MAGA is her problem, not theirs. Many, like Rashad Ritchie and his cronies, are claiming that Trump flags and apparel are hate symbols. Well, they're entitled to their opinion, but they have no authority to declare as such. Unless the political imagery is that of a bona fide terrorist organization, and those groups are readily identifiable, you don't get to declare that yourself. This ideology that I can ban anything that scares me, that is, that I perceive as a threat, becomes a weapon in of itself. I've said numerous times, the law is not a sword, it's a shield. Here, the law is designed as a shield to protect those who have no ill intent from mere accusations. It is not meant as a sword designed to prevent students from expressing their political views. Now, can the teacher claim self-defense a la Kyle Rittenhouse? Maybe. But to do so would require that she articulate to adjudge her fear before the judge would allow the jury to entertain such a defense, and I don't see it here. Their behavior doesn't seem threatening. A judge would probably rule that if we allow self-defense in cases where all the group did was wave political banners and march together, then that would wipe out most rights to peacefully assemble. Naturally, she cannot use deadly force and claim self-defense. With deadly force, you have to actively believe that your life is in imminent danger. Nothing these kids are doing would constitute a clear, deadly threat to anyone. If they were carrying weapons, maybe, depending on what they were doing with the weapons, or if they were uttering deadly threats. Are the MAGA kids off the hook? Not necessarily. In my next video, I will discuss why the school, but probably not the law, could rightfully punish these students. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.